Welcome back into Freight Waves now. Donny, going to start this carrier update looking at diesel fuel or the diesel prices. What you've seen even more decline, which is a welcome sight in the rack price. You're seeing it happen in the retail price, just not nearly as fast.
So this could be good for your large carriers because number one, fuel prices are dropping. And the rack price is dropping at a faster rate than what the retail market is. Last week, I was worried about this little guy right here when it started to pick back up, but it's since over the weekend flipped back and can drop down even further. So diesel currently at $5.15 for the average diesel truck stop price across the country. Rack price $3.24. Go to the next chart here, right quick. The spread. The spread has continued to increase. It's up to $1.92, almost $2 a gallon.
That's crazy when you think about the fact that in a normal environment, or what we were looking at prior really to March of this year, right? I mean, even now, the initial pandemic brought this craziness too, but throughout the middle of through all of 2021, it was kind of in this range, right? This $1 to $1.10 range.
Pre-war range.
Yeah, and then obviously Ukraine invasion happened, and it threw the diesel market and really energy markets as a whole kind of into a tizzy. And now you're into these levels that you've never seen ever. I mean, you never saw the fuel spread get up to $1.93. I mean, it's crazy.
And this is allowing a lot of volatility in sales. You've got a lot of fuel stations that, after all this, I mean, I told you last week about one street. Well, the guy that's still $4.99, it's been a month, and he has not changed his price.
Yep.
His cost has gone down. But if he's still selling it, he's still happy with his sales, he's not going to change his price. Now, down by the freeway, it's now down to $4.54. So almost a 50-cent difference now in between what one guy half mile down the road charging versus the guy by the freeway, and of course with 45-cent spread between 3 different stations within a mile. Well, that's what's happening also across the country. Now, of course, these 3 stations I'm talking about are not truck stops, but still, that's what I gauge. You know, it should still be affected the same. But this is what stations across the U.S. are doing. Some of them are dropping their prices, some of them aren't. And that's kind of keeping this, this average up as well, because these are set by the station owners. And with everything in a tizzy right now, some of them just aren't dropping their prices, and they're kind of disrespectfully price gouging for diesel.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's a positive for big carriers that have fuel contracts, right? Those larger carriers say, I mean, I think we've talked about it before, that 50 trucks and up can kind of get into the fuel contract game. But it's also, I mean, there's still, obviously you look at this as a smaller carrier, you're like, well, we're getting kind of screwed over. But the benefit is it's moved down, and it's going to continue to move down. The concern is this
does not allow them to run anywhere near the cost per mile as these large carriers are, which in return is going to run them out of business.
Yeah.
We only got a few seconds right quick. Let's look at the NTI. On the next chart here, NTI has moved down 259, but taking the fuel out, line haul, it's actually moved up a little bit. So they're getting paid a little bit more per rate per mile, but with this drop in fuel prices, it's kind of pushed this average down to 259. So when we come back, we'll look at some lanes today. Again, we'll look at Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta. And we'll go from there.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Donny. As always, right now, we'll toss it over to Kaylee and Anthony.